alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I want to play a game.
Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yussef, and this is your week in horror. So we have quite a bit of news to cover today, a lot of interesting stuff going on, very varied amount of news. But let's just go ahead and dive right in. So last year, this film got a premiere at last year's Fright Fest, and it's a movie called Hall. It's a high-tension thriller about a scary virus outbreak within a hotel. We got some really good news about this movie. So it will be coming to VOD on October 12th, which is very, very soon. But about this movie, Hall tells the story of Naomi, a Japanese runaway wife, and Val, a helpless young mother, both struggling to escape an abusive relationship, as well as a hotel hallway which has been infected by a mysterious airborne virus killing everyone rapidly. In this isolated and despairing space, fear becomes viral as the women run for their lives. In the face of contamination is their hope at the end of the hall. So this looks pretty cool. I like the idea of this. However, it is currently very, very timely, considering what we're going through at the moment in the world. But the way it's described, it looks pretty cool. But now for some sadder news. Actress Marilyn Eastman did pass away earlier this week. For us horror fans, we know her as an actress from Night of the Living Dead. Now, the George A. Romero Foundation confirmed the report. She played Helen Cooper in the original Night of the Living Dead, and she passed away at the age of 87. So the foundation tweeted, "It is with great sadness that we can confirm the passing of Marilyn Eastman on 8/22/21. Please join us in wishing her family peace at this painful time." So, her career was so interesting because outside of being in Night of the Living Dead, she was also worked a lot of behind the scenes of independent films. She worked in makeup departments, props, sound, and she even helped to edit. Or actually, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. She actually helped a lot behind the scenes of Night of the Living Dead. So she helped with makeup, prop, and sound, and she even helped to edit the screenplay. I didn't even know about this, but she also is in the film as a zombie. So she was an actress in the film, and she was also a zombie. So she had such a great impact on Night of the Living Dead, and the fact that she had so much to do with the creation of this film really speaks to her ability as not just an actress, but as a person in the film industry. So it's very, very interesting. But now for some lighter fare in the world of horror. AMC's annual Fear Fest is back. It's coming back in October, and it's going to be insane. Because this year, it is going to be the entire month of October. Normally, it's about half the month, but this year, it's going to be October 1st all the way to October 31st. And some of the films that are going to be included in the lineup are going to be Halloween, Underworld, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Final Destination, The Shining, and Scream, along with a new season of Eli Roth's History of Horror and the second season of Shudder's Creepshow. So we are going to get blessed this October from AMC. Like, we get everything that we could have ever dreamed of, and maybe some more. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'm sure they're going to be posting their detailed lineup very soon. Now, this one's really, really cool. So, this one is an upcoming 15-disc compendium of folk horror called All the Haunts Be Ours. Now, we don't really have a lot of information on this, but it is a limited edition compendium of folk horror that includes 15 discs and is going to be coming this midwinter from Severin Film. The 15-disc set is going to feature 12 Blu-rays, 3 CDs, and 20 feature films, in addition to hours and hours of shorts, commentaries, featurettes, and more, and it even comes with a book. Now, like I said, we don't have any big details yet, so we're not sure when we're going to be getting any pre-order info, and we don't even know what the lineup is going to be yet. So stay tuned for that. Now this one is going to be very cool as well. So director Patrick Bryce, who made Creep, is partnering up again with Netflix and releasing a brand new movie called There's Someone Inside Your House in October. So the movie itself is going to be coming out on October 6th, 2021 on Netflix. And it's actually based on the New York Times bestselling novel by Stephanie Perkins and Henry Gayden, who wrote the screenplay for Shazam, is actually the one who wrote the script. And we also got a new synopsis of the film, which reads: A high school senior and the rest of her new school's graduating class are being targeted by a mass killer intent on exposing their darkest secrets to the world. So it sounds interesting. I do like Creep and Creep 2. I haven't seen the other film he made, Corporate Animals, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on October 6th when this movie comes out. It looks to be pretty interesting. Uh, Now, this is very cool from Shudder. They're going to be coming out with some Christmas set chills with a pair of new horror films that are going to be premiering at Fright Fest in London. So they acquired the films Slapface and the Advent Calendar, which they also plan to release in North America, the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. Um, and the first one coming out is going to be the Advent Calendar, which comes out in December 2021, and Slapface will actually come out in 2022. So let me read the description for each one. So for the Advent Calendar, it reads: Ava, an ex-dancer, is now living in a wheelchair, unable to walk. When her friend Sophie gives her an old wooden antique Advent calendar before Christmas, she realizes each window contains a surprise that triggers repercussions in real life. Some of them are good, but most of them are bad. Really bad. Now Ava will have to choose between getting rid of the calendar or walking again, even if it causes death and destruction to everyone she holds dear around her. That sounds very, very cool. It doesn't feel very like super Christmassy to me. I just feel like it's kind of a horror movie set around Christmas, but not something like Trick or Treat. That's very much in the spirit of Halloween, or even Krampus. That's very much in the spirit of Christmas. Um, but it still sounds like a very interesting movie. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. But the next synopsis is for Slapface, and it reads: Is the relationship more special than that of a boy and his monster? After Lucas and Tom lose their mother in an accident, they think they only have each other to lean on. But Lucas has become fascinated by local myths of a monster in the woods, reciting the rhyme that kids have been repeating for generations whenever he walks by the abandoned hospital. When bullying girls from his school dare him to go inside, the rhyme comes to life, and as Lucas's visits become more frequent, the disappearances begin. But surely the Virago witch would never hurt him. So I don't know what this really has to do with Christmas. It might be something to do maybe with folklore in Europe, but I personally don't really know anything about this. I've never heard of Virago or any type of witch like that. So I'm not sure because I still don't have Shutter. I haven't bought Shutter in a long time. So but right now, these two don't really sell me that much. Like it's not one of the things where like, if I really want to watch these, I have to get Shutter. I don't know, but hopefully some friends get to see it, and that maybe they'll tell me a little bit more about it when it does come out. But moving on, this one I actually didn't even know. I had no idea that John Carpenter had a graphic novel series. Um, and apparently he's been doing this for a while because the series is back this Halloween with Tales for Halloween Night Volume 7. Um, and it's going to be hitting shelves on September 22nd, 2021. And it reads: From the mind of John Carpenter, the man who brought you the classic horror from Halloween and all of the scares beyond, in the heart of writer, editor, producer Sandy King, comes a baker dozen of twisted tales of terror, tricks, and treats. That's very, very cool. Like I said, I had no idea John Carpenter had a graphic novel series. Um, I feel like it's going to be very interesting. I personally like comics a lot. I read comics on a regular basis. And the fact that they're going to be mixing comics with John Carpenter is already a match made in heaven. So I will definitely try to keep you guys updated and see if anything else comes out. But for now, we did get a picture of the cover art, and you can actually see that on our Instagram. It looks very, very cool. I love the cover art for this book. But moving on to some more collectible news here, Nika gave us a preview of the upcoming Ultimate Michael Myers Halloween Kills figure. So, um, Nika does cover a lot of the gnarlier details because we do know that he's a little bit more battle damaged in Halloween Kills than he was in Halloween 2018. So the screen accurate Michael Myers action figure stands in 7-inch scale and comes with knives, bat, bulb, skull mask, which is the mask from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Halligan bar, and interchangeable heads and hands, and he'll need it when the Strode women set out to end his evil reign of terror. Holy shit, this figure looks so good. I did post some pictures of him, or of the figure, on our Instagram, and I was talking to some friends about it, and this figure just looks really, really cool. The amount of detail, again, from Nika, as always, is bar none. It's very, very nice detail. Um, I do like that it kind of gives us a sneak peek as to what we might see Michael use as weapons in the film. I like that. So now it's one of the things we're like, oh, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do with, what he's gonna do with the kids in the skull mask. I'm a little crazy about that one. But yeah, we have moving on to some more news. We have a new movie called Chastise, with Gigi Gustin, who was in Fast and Furious Death Race and Girls Just Wanna Have Blood, and she is joining horror legend Bill Moseley. And the horror thriller Chastise from director Demetrius Navarro. This is from Deadline. The film watches as horrific events inspire two young women to set out on a cross-country trail of chaos in their mobile tattoo van. With deviant subjects lurking around every corner, they devise an experiment that's part human trials and full vigilante justice. Their avant-garde methods go viral and ignite a social movement. That sounds really, really interesting. It sounds really cool, actually. I've never really heard of anything like this. So, we don't really have any other types of details other than the name of the movie and obviously the two actors gonna be in it. But as more rolls out, I will keep you guys updated. Um, Now, moving on to our next piece of news. Warner Brothers and director Ninja Thyberg announced that we are going to be getting a remake of The Witches of Eastwick. So if you do not know, the original starred Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon, and it was actually directed by George Miller, the director of the Mad Max films, and it looks like we're going to be getting another adaptation. So Screen Daily reported that Warner Bros. Is going to be behind the remake and readaptation, and they hired Ninja Thyberg, who directed Pleasure, to write the script and also direct the film. The site, a Deadline noted, Thyberg is about to start writing the script. It is not yet confirmed if her screenplay will be based on Miller's version, which was adapted by writer Michael Christopher, or on John Updike's 1984 novel of the same name on which the first film was based. So we have very little information to go on. So we'll see what happens with that. I've actually never seen the original Witches of Eastwick, so I'm either excited or I'm not. Right now, I'm just like, it looks interesting. I like witches. This could be cool. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably gonna have to watch the original at some point just to see what it's like. But moving on to the next piece of news that we have here. So the Taryn Manning thriller Karen is going to be headlining BET's Summer of Chills lineup. So that's going to be really, really cool because I did see the trailer for this film. It's very much a current film, especially with the current stuff that we're dealing with. So it will star Taryn Manning, who most people will know from Orange is the New Black. And we did learn that the film is headed to BET on the road to Halloween. Variety reported that the film will premiere as part of BET's Summer of Chills lineup of original thrillers, arriving on September 14th at 10 p.m. And the film, Karen, centers on Karen Drexler, a racist white woman who makes it her personal mission to displace the new black family that has just moved in next door to her. Community activist Malik and his wife Imani are the couple who have just moved to the Atlanta suburb, but they won't be backing down without a fight. Holy shit. This could be really interesting. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Like I said, it's a very current movie. I know we've been dealing with the Karen situation for quite a bit now, to the point where it's become a whole meme, and to the point where it's become kind of scary sometimes with what these people do. But yeah, it looks like an interesting movie. But moving on to our next news. So we have a announcement for a new upcoming AMC Plus series called Firebite. So the movie, or not the movie, the series is actually currently filming in South Australia, and it follows two indigenous Australian hunters, Tyson and Shanika, on their quest to battle the last colony of vampires in the middle of the South Australian desert. Holy shit. um, this looks this sounds really cool. Australian vampire hunters. Not only that, like these vampires are gonna get pushed against a wall. Like you don't push an animal into a wild animal into against the wall because they're gonna bite back. So that's gonna be really cool. But some more info here regarding the synopsis. It reads, Firebite is set in a remote desert mining town, a hive for the last vampire stronghold, shipped from Britain to Australia in 1788 by the colonial superpower to eradicate the indigenous populations. Sheltering from the sun in the underground mines and tunnels that surround the town until the present day, colony's numbers and hunger is growing. War is coming. Tyson and Shanika stand vanguard to the war, but what hope does an expertly reckless man full of bravado and a 17-year-old orphan possibly have to defeat these vicious, bloodthirsty parasites when legions of warriors before them have failed? Holy shit. So that sounds really interesting. It sounds really cool. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't have AMC Plus. There's too many streaming services out there right now, and I just don't know if it's one of those where I'm gonna be purchasing them outright, right? But some more details on the series itself. It will be comprised of 8 one-hour episodes set to debut on premium US streaming platform AMC Plus later this year. So we don't have specific dates as to when yet, but just know it's going to be coming out later in the year. But moving on to some more collectible news. So Mezco has announced that they're going to be releasing, if they haven't released it already, a 12 scale collective alien figure. So they are adding the Xeno from the original Alien, and actually it's already up for pre-order. Mezco explained in the release for this, the 1 to 12 collective alien features an all-new seamless body designed with an internal skeleton armature that is durable yet highly poseable. The hostile xenoform is equipped with a hinged pharyngeal jaw and interchangeable inner mouths, as well as an interchangeable chest plate pierced by the ASO 400 harpoon grappling gun, as seen in the final scene of the movie. The alien is fully loaded with film-accurate accessories, including a coiled facehugger that can fit over the heads of most other 1 to 12 collectible figures, an open facehugger, a chest burster, and an open and closed ovomorph egg. The figure is actually $100, which is not that bad. I thought it was going to be more expensive. But I definitely want to talk about the skeleton armature, because the way that it's set up, you don't see the joints. It is a fully customized figure, like detailed figure, so you will not have that issue where you can see some of the joints around the legs and arms area, so it is going to look as movie accurate as possible. And yeah, for $100, that is actually a very good price. I think that's going to be a big seller. But like I said, it's going to be $100, and it's going to be shipping between January and March of next year. But we have some more announcements for horror-based TV shows. So, Lakeith Stanfield is going to be starring in an Apple TV Plus horror series from the writer of Venom and Cruella. She's going to be the writer, Kelly Marcel is going to be the writer and showrunner of an upcoming adaptation of the Victor Lavelle novel, The Changeling, that's going to be heading to Apple TV Plus. It's going to be directed by Melina Matsoukas, who directed Queen and Slim. and it will star Lakeith Stanfield, who we know from Get Out, Knives Out, and Judas and the Black Messiah. Um, the series is going to be from Annapurna and Apple Studios, and it is described as a fairy tale for grown-ups, a horror story, a parenthood fable, and a perilous odyssey through a New York City you didn't know existed. So that is very cool. Um, but moving on to some shark-infested water news. For those of you that have Netflix, the entire Jaws franchise is going to be swimming back to Netflix in September, and it's going to be joining Deep Blue Sea. So now we have some more shark goodness. It will include Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws the Revenge. They're going to be all coming out on Netflix on September 16th. And some of the other movies, actually, that are going to be coming out in September are going to be Prey, Night Books, which was actually produced by Sam Raimi, and the film called No One Gets Out Alive. So September's going to be a good year for, or a good month for horror, excuse me, on Netflix. Granted, if you do have Amazon Prime, all four Jaws are already there, but if you don't, just wait until September 16th, and they'll be all available for you to see and get acquainted with the lovely folks of Amity, SeaWorld, and the Bahamas. So, yeah. But moving on to some Christmassy news now. So, Funko and Hallmark have joined forces for a Gizmo and Gremlins themed Christmas ornament. We're going to be getting a brand new ornament in December. Now, it's really cool. He is also going to be an official Funko product, and he is going to be showcased in his Funko Pop style. And he's just the most adorable thing. Like, he's even holding a little pair of 3D glasses. It is going to be, actually, the pre-order's already begun, started on August 26th. At the same time, a 4-pack of Gremlins pins are also up for grabs right now through Walmart. So if you are a pin collector, it's going to be a very good pickup for you. And if you want to brighten up your Christmas season, why not get yourself a cute little gizmo, because Gremlins is technically a Christmas movie. So, don't at me with that. So you might as well. So this next bit of news has me really excited. I actually talked about some friends with this, specifically Kyle from the Trick or Treaters podcast and Cece from the Screen Queens. It is from CinemaCon. Some footage got revealed for an upcoming Blumhouse movie called The Black Phone. And it is going to be directed by Scott Derrickson, who made Sinister, and he's going to be teaming up with Blumhouse again and with Ethan Hawke. So the movie follows Mason Thames, who plays a boy named Finney Shaw, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who is abducted by a sadistic killer who is played by Ethan Hawke and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of little use. But when a disconnected phone on the wall begins to ring, Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. Now, what's really cool is that this time Ethan Hawke is actually going to be the antagonist. So he's going to be playing, this is the craziest thing, he's going to be playing a part-time magician who kidnaps and tortures children until he ultimately kills them. This movie is looking to push some crazy boundaries, and I'm honestly, I'm all for it. Sinister was already kind of a slightly, it was kind of a disturbing movie with the content in it. And the fact that Scott Derrickson is like, watch, I can go darker than that. With The Black Phone is definitely a good sign that Blumhouse is still not afraid to experiment and produce really strange and really dark horror. But now what's really cool about this film is that it actually comes into theaters very, very soon. It comes out on January 28th of next year. Just based on the synopsis of this, I really want to watch this movie. It looks really good. Or at least it sounds really good. I haven't seen anything. But yeah. Like I said, January 28th, this movie comes out, The Black Phone. And now for some fan film news. So, we got a trailer for a film called Rose Blood. It is going to be Friday the 13th, a fan film. We've gotten a lot of these recently. Now, what's really cool about this one It will star Lar Park Lincoln, who we know as Tina from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Um, so, not just that, um, it will also return, or it also features the return of Terry Kaiser, who played Dr. Cruz, and Kevin Spirtus, who played Nick. And the idea here is to finish the untold story after the events of Friday the 13th, The New Blood, which brings back Tina while also bringing in a new character with similar abilities to Tina's. So, the trailer is available now. I don't know what it is, though. This movie looks off. Like, there's something weird about this film. Like, I don't know. It's something compared to the other Friday the 13th fan films that we've gotten. This one doesn't seem as good. It doesn't seem like the amount of effort was there all the way. Granted, I could be proven wrong. We'll see what happens, but right now I'm gonna see this with a grain of salt. Um, but we do have some poster news. So Bloody Disgusting actually had the exclusive look at the official poster for the movie called We Need to Do Something that is soaked in crimson terror. So it does feature like this crazy eyeball just like looking at something. We can't tell what it is yet. But we'll have to find out when the movie comes out on theaters, digital, and VOD on September 3rd. The movie is going to be directed by Sean King O'Grady, and the film stars Sierra McCormick, Vanessa Shaw, Pat Healy, and newcomer Listen Alexis, and John James Cronin from Nosferatu. And the synopsis reads, "And we need to do something. After Melissa and her family seek shelter from a storm, they become trapped. With no sign of rescue, hours turn to days, and Melissa comes to realize that she and her girlfriend Amy might have something to do with the horrors that threaten to tear her family and the entire world apart." So I'm reading a little bit of Lovecraftian horror in there, as well as just some kind of like Cabin Fever type stuff. Not Cabin Fever, the body horror movie. Cabin Fever, like kind of like The Shining, where you kind of are isolated in this one area, and you just slowly, your sanity just starts to slip. I'm definitely getting some vibes from that as well. So that's gonna be sounds pretty cool. I might watch that when it comes out in theaters. If not, I'll watch it on VOD. However, um, but we also did get a trailer for a brand new movie that is gonna be called Demigod. Um, this was also from Bloody Disgusting. They got the exclusive look at the trailer for Demigod, which is the next horror movie from the director of The Dinner Party and Hallowed Ground, Miles Doliak. And it is starring Rachel Nichols from the Amityville Horror. And it is set to be a macabre riff on the Cernunnos myth. I think it is a Celtic folkloric myth. But the synopsis says Nichols plays Robin, a woman who travels with her husband to Germany's Black Forest upon learning that her huntsman grandfather has died and left her all his worldly possessions. Upon arrival, a terrifying secret forces her to reckon with her family's past and a mysterious ritual she thought was the stuff of fairy tales. So that looks really cool. The movie itself will be released in theaters and on VOD on October 15th. So if you seem to be interested in that, or if you are interested, go make sure to check that out. Then we have some more film-related news. Netflix is going to be making a movie called Intrusion, starring Logan Marshall Green and Frida Pinto. And it's funny. Not funny. I'm sorry. And it's interesting because it does explore the aftermath of a home invasion. So we did get the official trailer for that. The movie comes out on September 22nd. And it's, like I said, it's really cool because it does explore what happens after a home invasion. And the synopsis says, when a husband and wife move to a small town, a home invasion leaves the wife traumatized and suspicious that those around her might not be who they seem. So that is going to be pretty cool. I like the sound of this. It could be a fun and interesting film. Sounds like it could be pretty mysterious as well. Like, I like the mystery aspect of it. But moving on, Stranger Things' actress Priya, not sure how to say her name, Priya Ferguson, is going to be bringing spooky decorations to life in a Netflix Halloween comedy. So, funny enough, Marlon Wayans is actually set to star in this film in the works with Netflix, and we also got some more casting news. So, Variety reported that Stranger Things star Priya Ferguson has signed on to star alongside Marlon Wayans in the movie. She will be playing a teenager who unleashes an evil spirit on Halloween night. The film itself is going to be directed by Jeff Wadlow, who directed Crywolf, Truth or Dare, and Fantasy Island. And the story follows a teenage girl who, after accidentally unleashing an ancient and mischievous spirit on Halloween, which causes decorations to come alive and wreak havoc, must team up with the last person she'd want to in order to save their town, her skeptical father, played by Marlon Wayans. So this sounds cool. I like the comedy aspect of it. What doesn't fill me with much hope is the director. I personally did not like Truth or Dare or Fantasy Island. They were very dumb movies, in my opinion. Granted, they were trying to be a little serious about things, so maybe the director will feel better in a comedy type of film with like a horror comedy. Um, but it's one of the things I'm gonna also be taking with a grain of salt. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, there's really no other details other than the casting and the synopsis, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Now this one is a really cool bit of news. So Disney Plus, or I'm sorry, Halloween special from Marvel is actually going to be hitting to Disney Plus next year. So the website The Wrap reported that the project is set to be centered on a werewolf character. Naturally, this is a, or not naturally, I'm sorry. There's a lot of speculation relating that this might be related to the Werewolf by Night Marvel comic book character. And the Wrap noted that individuals with knowledge of the project suggest it is indeed tied to that concept. Some of the other things that were reported: Marvel Studios is actively searching for a Latino actor to lead the cast of an as yet untitled Halloween special that will air on Disney Plus. Um, so if you want to know a little bit more about Werewolf by Night, the comic book character, um, we have a little description as well. Jack Russell is a descendant of the mystically altered offshoot of humans known as lycanthropes. During the night of the full moon and the 2 nights surrounding it, he is forced to mutate into a werewolf, a large, powerful form which is a hybrid of human and wolf, and loses his human intellect. Through a series of events, he is also capable of mutating voluntarily outside of the full moon, at which time he remains in control. That's going to be really, really cool. I like the idea of Disney Plus starting to branch out into other genres of horror. We are seeing that they're going to be doing kind of a gateway horror with the R.L. Stein comic book series adaptation. So I appreciate the fact that Disney Plus is using their platform to kind of branch out, experiment a little bit. So we'll see. That sounds really interesting. I like the idea of this, but we'll see what happens later on. But moving on to some more home release films. Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes is going to be coming to 4K Ultra HD with a limited edition Arrow release. So it actually got announced yesterday morning. It is going to be released in the US, the UK, and Canada, and it is set to release on November 9th. Uh, what's really freaking cool about this is the amount of special features. Because you get 4K version of the film set from the original negative, a ton of behind the scenes featurettes, a bunch of interviews, bloopers, extended or deleted scenes. So you really are going to be getting quite a bit of information. Yeah, we will see what other things it's going to contain. We might learn some new stuff by watching a bunch of these bonus features. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Again, it comes out on November 9th. Now this one's really cool. I like this a lot. Uh, this is a film that a couple of friends and I have discussed. That we're both very, very excited for, and that is the upcoming Nick Cage movie, Prisoners of the Ghostland. And what's very cool is that it is actually going to be turned into a prequel comic book that's actually available now. So the prequel comic is going to be coming from Patriot Comic Books, and it is set to set this. It is said to set the stage for Sion Sono's upcoming feature film. In the 25-page tale written by Christopher Rita and Mason Mendoza, with art by Alonso Molina Gonzalez, featuring Nicolas Cage and Nick Cassavetes. Two notorious outlaws execute an elaborate bank heist in an East meets West stylized town. When his accomplice goes full-on psychotic, Cage must decide whether he wants to escape or have innocent blood on his hands. I love the fact that they have so much faith in this movie that they're even giving us a prequel comic book. Um, I just think it's going to be really cool. I've seen a little bit of the artwork for it, and I like the art style for it. I think it's going to be a really interesting comic book. I like the fact that it's going to lead into the film itself, which I'm also extremely excited for. But like I said, that is available now through the Patriot Comic Books websites. And funny enough, it is going to have a color version as well as a black and white version, kind of giving you some Walking Dead vibes there. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we're moving on to our last piece of news. James Wan is producing a brand new adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot, and it will also be starring Lewis Pullman, who was in The Strangers Prey at Night. So this is actually a report from The Hollywood Reporter. They did say Pullman will star as author Ben Mears, a man who returns to his childhood home of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration for his next book, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a vampire, leading him to band together a ragtag group that will fight the evil presence. Now, we don't have many other news outside of that. This is actually the first casting news we've gotten, but we still don't have anything regarding a release date or even a poster or a trailer. We don't have anything as of yet, but except for this casting news, and the fact that James Wan is producing. So this looks like it could be pretty cool. I have not read Salem's Lot in years. I don't remember the details of it. I'd have to go back and reread it. But yeah, that is going to be coming out sometime probably next year or the year after that. And yeah, it's going to be a yet another Stephen King adaptation. We've gotten a ton of those, probably the same amount of books he's published at this point. But yeah, that is all the horror news of the week that we have here for you. So it is now time to do our basic housekeeping. My name is, of course, Yussef. You can find me on Instagram at Yussef1220 and on Twitter at ItBeYussef. And then you can also follow my co-host Vanya. She is on Twitter and YouTube as HHN Cultus. She does post a lot of horror-inspired makeup looks, HHN-inspired videos and makeup looks, as well as goth culture and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into any of that, definitely go check her out. Give her a follow on Twitter and YouTube. And then for our lovely little podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else you can get podcasts. And we also have our YouTube channel. We do have a couple videos up there that you can check out, especially a vlog that me and Vanya did where we went to Universal, checked out some of the scare zones, and took a look at the exterior of the upcoming, or in this case already released, tribute store. And for our socials, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Sounds from the Grave. And that is really all I have for you. I hope you guys got some new information and are kept up to date so far. But for now, I bid you a good day or good night, depending on when you're listening to this. And I hope you stay spooky. Bye, everybody.